家のことを任せてもいいか。俺は家族を助けに行く。
Turning point 3, baby. Okay, so every turning point has been level disaster for Mushoku Tensei. This one was the most mild out of the two turning points that we had prior, but still, it was huge decisions. But selfishly, I am so glad that Rudy decided to get off his ass and go and try and save Zenith, try and save Paul, and, you know, answer the letter that 𝐜𝐴 sent him. I'm so happy that he decided to do it. Selfishly, my biggest desire is Rudy being reunited with our girl Roxy. Like, there's nothing I want more in the anime than to see more Roxy. More Roxy, more better. That's the creed I live by, basically. So I am so excited that he actually got off his butt and made the decision. It took some tears from Norn, and it took a few days of pushing and pulling between himself and what he should do. You know, it's a very hard decision, you know, especially with thinking, you know, he just got the news that he's going to be a father. He just got that realization that right now, if he were to travel to the Beggary continent or whatever it is, you know, it's going to take him like a year. So immediately he knows he's going to miss the birth of his child. And then subsequently, however long it takes for him to actually get to them, find Zenith, find them, save them, and then get back, you're looking at 1 to 3 years, somewhere in that mark. So by the time he gets back, his baby's going to be a toddler. So it's a really big decision, you know, kind of mulling over, you know, what is his best course of action. And you have to really sympathize with Rudy that it's not an easy, like, oh, does he or doesn't he want to go and save his mom kind of thing. You know, does he or doesn't he want to go and save his dad kind of thing. It's on top of that decision, you know, on leaving, it's the time of which he's leaving. And I think that's probably the biggest, you know, push and pull for him. And then on top of everything else, right, he has Hitogami, who is, you know, pointing him one direction or another direction. And he has to deal with Hitogami telling him, like, hey, don't go. And he knows the repercussions of not listening to Hitogami. And he knows the benefits of listening to Hitogami. So not only is he weighing his life as he knows it, not only is he weighing what could happen, not only is he weighing time, but then he's also weighing the advice of the man god, you know, Hitogami. So it's a lot to take in, but I'm glad that he did balls to the wall. I'm glad that he chose to go after them. Again, my selfish desire is him being reunited with the number one waifu, you know, Roxy. I think out of all three girls, you know, I genuinely vibe with Roxy the most, and I think that she matters the most to him, whether he knows it or not. And at least in my head, you know, Sylphie has the childhood, you know, love there. Eris has the first love that tumultuous and he journeyed with, and then Roxy holds that other special part. So I'm really happy that he decided to do this, and I wonder how he's going to do it. That's the very next thing that my mind goes to, is how is he going to do it? Like, is he just going to, you know, jump on a ship and travel there? Is he going to try and employ another method, like, you know, maybe some other form of travel? Is he going to try and, I don't know, maybe use like Nanahoshi or something like that? Maybe use like, maybe she knows something, like, you know, how to travel faster, or what do they call it? Not like transportation magic or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like fast travel magic or something like that. Like, I mean, I don't know, right? At this point, she's infantile at summoning, but maybe if it's not another world, maybe there's another way that she knows about, especially because she's been drip feeding him different, like, legendary magic. Like, she gave him like what did he call it, a limited edition scroll this episode for the help that he's given her. So, you know, that's kind of where my thoughts are. It's either he grabs his bag and just hoofs it, right? He just kind of like hoofs it, jumps on a ship and just begins traveling, and it's going to take a year. He finds some other method of travel, like maybe there's an airship, maybe there's something else that we haven't been told yet that he can, take that year down, anything. And then the other option is magic, right? He knows that the mana disaster, it beamed him to the demon continent before. So maybe they can't replicate summoning from like Japan or a different world, but maybe they can kind of replicate what happened there. The risk though is maybe you don't land at the demon continent, and maybe you get closer though. I don't know. So those are the kind of the three options that I see. And I'm very interested to see what happens next. Next week's episode is called Desert something. Let me see. It's called The Desert Journey. And we know that the demon continent is basically just like desert. So that's the reason that my thought process goes of like, how does either, or we do like a massive time skip. But that's where my thought process goes, like, okay, next week is called Desert Journey. So obviously he's going to get to the desert pretty quickly. So what method is he going to employ to get to the desert? The other thing that's really important too that this episode presented was that 𝐿𝐼 is going to go with him. She wants to do something really good for her granddaughter, and she wants to kind of help reunite his family. And so he's going to be able to travel with 𝐿𝐼. There's two outstanding things that this episode presented. One of them is Cliff. I don't know, is Cliff going to travel with them as well too? I think that would be really cool for Cliff to go. But obviously he has a lot of ties here. But 𝐿𝐼 is basically saying like, hey, if I got to break up with him, I got to do what I got to do, which is really sad because we know how in love she is with Cliff and how in love Cliff is with her. And she, 𝐿𝐼, although she, she's had her moments, she deserves happiness. So I wonder if Cliff's going to go. And then the other potential traveling partners, maybe, I don't know. I'm just throwing shit to the wall here. But Persena and Lenia, Hirogami this episode when he met with him, did present that Lenia and Persena are going to enter mating season soon, and he should probably like pick one of them, and that'll open up the next door of happiness for Rudy. Even Rudy was like, I don't, those kitty cats, I don't know. Even Rudy was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but maybe he, takes a twist of that option and has them travel with him. Protection, everything else. I mean, that's an option as well too. And then I mentioned it already, but Nana Hoshi, maybe she finds a way to help him. Maybe she travels with him as well too. So potential travel partners there. We know Sylphie's staying because she has to. We know the girls are staying. His two sisters, Aisha and Norn are staying. We know Zanaba and Julie and the guards girl, I forget what her name is, but we know they're staying. So it's like, okay, we know that. So we know Rudy and 𝐿𝐼 for sure. And then it's kind of like maybe there's one or two or three other potential traveling partners as well too. So that is an interesting thing. Last thing I'll say, last couple of things that I noticed about this episode is as we continue to hear, and this is represented when he meets with Hirogami as episode 2. Also, big congratulations on his pregnancy with Sylphie. Rudy deserves to have a family. I think that it's something that not avoided, but it was something that he wasn't able to grasp or get or earn in his last life. But I think that in this life, he's done enough to overcome what he messed up as. And I think he has earned a family and some semblance of happiness. So I'm really happy for him, with Sylphie as well, too. But hopefully he brings his other future wife who's in the mix as well, too, Roxy specifically. And then I guess maybe Lenia and Percent. I don't know. We'll see about that. But the last thing I'll say, too, is his inner dialogue continues to be fat him. One of the things I continue to notice about the anime it does really well is his inner dialogue is not Rudy's voice as it is. It's still his old voice. And then when Hirogami pulled him into his, mystical world or whatever you call it, he still continues to be fat Rudy. Which the day that he is represented in that world as not fat Rudy will be the day that he's truly let go of his past life. But I just wanted to call that out as I think that that's an exceptionally little thing that they continue to do that's super important to the growth of Rudy as a character. Is not only inner dialogue, but then also representation in that in-between dream world that Hirogami continues to manifest for Rudy and how he imagines himself there. So Last thing I'll say too is when it comes to Hitogami is I wonder where he's at, and I wonder what he looks like specifically, because the dream, he doesn't like live in this dream world or whatever. It's something that he's conjuring telepathically to Rudy. So I wonder, where in this world is he, and what does he look like? I wonder that quite a bit. Or maybe he is some just, sentient being that doesn't have physical form. That could be as well too. So I'll leave that one on the chopping block. That's just one thing that I wondered as Hitogami showed up again. And I was like, oh, that's a good... We never really captured that. We know there's other gods that exist, like the dragon god who has physical form. So it's like, Hitogami, what's his physical form? All right. I'll leave you guys know that I talked way too long. Mushoku Tensei, episode 6. Turning Point, freaking awesome. 10 out of 10. See you guys next week. Peace.